Hi guys, I'm Kooky Blooky, and today is a video a little different. This is kind of like some, I guess you could say, drawing tips. I don't know. This is supposed to focus on bases, but it's going to end up being a full-out drawing. And yes, like I said just like 2 seconds ago, this is a video that is supposed to help you if you're not really sure how to do bases. And so we're just going to open up a new canvas here. I'm gonna guess 1,000 by 1,000. And you may be wondering, why are you doing 1,000 by 1,000? Well, we're also doing some reference because we're basing this base off a character. Basing this base. But anyway, because I said this is going to focus on bases, but it's going to end up in a full drawing. And although I am using Paint Tool Psi, trust me, everything I'm doing here, you can mimic the movement on paper, except for like coloring probably, but you can find ways to do that with like Copic markers and stuff. But today we are doing Dave Strider. Alright, so let's just put him in here, paste. There he goes. Dave Strider. Let's move that down a layer. Alright. I don't know about you, but I just like to name my layers, so we're just going to name this base, which is why we're doing this video, so we're going to put exclamation marks by it, because why not? And this is just the reference. We are not copying this exact image, this exact pose. It's going to be a little simpler and a little easier. It's probably not going to have hands because I really am bad at doing hands. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with this pencil. And if you're doing this on paper, use sort of a light drawing pencil. And we're just going to kind of put our Dave from Homestuck, if you were wondering. I forgot if I mentioned that or not. We're just going to kind of put him right here as sort of a side-by-side. Like what this person did. Who is this person? It's just from Dave Strider Images. It doesn't really say who did it. But this is not me. This is not my drawing. I cannot be that good. But I can help with bases at the very least. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by kind of making like... This is just where everything is going to go, alright? This is definitely not official. Also, that's ugly. So you should probably put in more of a gray color if you're doing it on digital. If you're doing it on paper, put it lightly so that you can erase it and you can line it with, in a digital case, black, or in a paper case, ink marker, or even if you're just going over it by pressing harder with a pencil or using a darker color pencil or something like that. So right here we have his head, and I think we're just going to do just kind of a up front image, so that also looks horrible. This will probably be a long video. Wow. Watch me and my failure of heads. This is going to get trimmed somehow. Alright, it's okay if you don't get it perfect and you just want to mark over it. As long as you can see and you know where you're going with this, you're good. So this circle is a little more where the facial features will go, you know, because this is obviously the chin. This is a little more where the facial features and kind of the hair will go, unless you're drawing someone who is bald, like One Punch Man or something. I've only seen one episode of One Punch Man, so don't kill me. But what I like to do, at least, you don't have to do this, but the way I'm teaching you is to do your nose next. And the reason I say do the nose next is because it helps you figure out where to place your eyes. Which your eyes will go in this sort of rectangle-ish thing I made here. And you can even kind of start on the eyes. Now, I know in real life you cannot zoom in and out on a drawing, but surely you can look at the drawing and look at what you need to do, turn the paper, whatever you need to do. I'm better at drawing on paper than digitally anyway. I don't even know why I'm doing this digitally. And You see, if we were putting his eyes in, we would start doing them here. But then I kind of just had this moment where I remembered, oh yeah, this is Dave Strider. So in this case, we're going to draw kind of his shades, but with a character where their eyes are showing, do eyes. You can practice eyes on the paper. I may make a video on eyes if it is requested enough. If you seriously think I'm that good to teach you about eyes, then comment if you want a video on how to draw eyes, I guess. But yeah, and this looks like a total mess right now, but it'll all get cleaned up when it's lined. And besides, I said that this was supposed to be on bases anyway. So we have nose, we have eyes, or in this case shades. Let's just kind of draw. That's too plain. Because I mean, Dave isn't exactly the most smiley person all the time, but don't want him to be too plain. So there we go. He's just chilling there, and you may notice that we haven't put his hair on yet, but he kind of needs hair. I shouldn't have done that. So we're gonna actually look at another reference. You can use as much reference as you want for any drawing, really. But if you look at these, he kind of seems to have a fringe going to sort of the left. So we're gonna put that in there. Don't just make a flap. Don't just make flap. Try to add some other sort of strands into it to make it more realistic. And when you do add strands, don't make it just lines on that one flap. Kind of make it like layers, like this. You see? Now which one looks a little more like hair? Not what I did up here. Sometimes if you do need to, though, you can just kind of, since a base really is just a sketch, you can kind of fix it like that. And you can probably fix it when you do your lining. Let's give our buddy Dave here some ears, because he's got to have some way to hold up those cool hipster mirror shades, am I right? Alright. Now, let's just try to finish up his hair. Now, since this is a video on bases, I am probably going to fast forward the actual lining of our friend Dave here. But do not just make a big blob and call it hair. Actually try to make it hair. Like, I know mine doesn't look very good, but look at our reference. You'll see it isn't just a blob. You have kind of strands or layers just kind of going out all over the place, sort of. Basically what I'm saying is don't do this and say that's his hair. No. Alright, and I guess he needs at least a little bit of a torso. So we're gonna do this here. Now, sometimes with feminine shoulders, I like to do circles like this, sort of as the joint. But that kind of it kind of does make them look a little more on the feminine side. What I've been doing for male shoulders lately is just kind of a but kind of a slanted line down to give it that more broad look. Broad shoulder look, because it's a dude. Alright. I just had to check the reference. In fact, I'm doing this slightly wrong. Alright. let's try again. And let's just put his arms in here so then we can figure out where we need to separate that. And then we can put his little scratched disc in, sort of. This obviously does not have to be perfect yet, considering it is just a base. But alright, so there is our base for Dave. And what I'm going to do now is this is going to be the fast forwarded part, because I told you this is supposed to focus on bases. But what I'm going to do now, if you're on a desktop or if you want to line your Dave, that's fine. But what I'm doing here is I'm adding a vector layer and I'm changing my color to black, and I'm actually going to line this, and I'm going to get it ready for coloring. So I'm going to fast forward this part. Alright, and there he is, Dave Strider. If you're wondering why I decided to spend the time to do all the shading, it's because I love shading and shading is fun. Not including the base, this took 23 minutes. And if you paid attention to the first part of the video, you should at the very least know how to do the base of this drawing. I'll see you in my next video, and if you want me to focus on something, let me know in the comments below. Alright, see you later.